Welcome back to the pros and cons of living on a sailboat.
Hi, I'm Terje, and last week we went through the 5 bad or the downside of living on a boat. This week we're going to go through the 5 good things of onboard living. Since I've been living on a boat for nearly a year now, I consider myself the #1 go-to expert on this matter. So if you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them in the comment sections below and I'll get back to you. So without any further ado, let's roll the list. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. Now hold on just a darn minute. Have I just been pulled through one of those hippie time warp type of thingy? No, you have not. Now let me explain how the same thing can occur on both lists at the same time. And I have not changed my mind at all, because it is still very cramped inside the boat, and as soon as you're going to do anything at all down there, the whole boat gets cluttered. No, it's something else, and that can be explained with one word, and that word is minimalism. Now if you Google minimalism, I hope I got that right. Well, we will see. Anyway, if you Google minimalism, you will see this: a minimalistic lifestyle or a value system, where objects are valued for the needs in your life, not the retail price or what other people may think of you for owning this item. Now, for me, it is all about not owning anything that I don't need or don't use here on Embla. So I'm really not there yet, but I'm getting there slowly. So there you go, as simple as that, to just declutterify your life, if you will. And it is strange really, because we are born without nothing and we go out without nothing, and in between those two there are a time window where we work so hard to accumulate as much stuff as we can. Now for me, this all started many years ago when I was moving, and I realized how much stuff I really owned. So I got rid of as much as I could when moving, but there was still too much stuff left. So I started downsizing ever since then. And so this moving down to the boat was actually just the next evolutionary step on my journey, if you will. I would say I'm a more happy person today and much more content, even though I don't own anything anymore. But I'm still more happy and more content compared to compared to what I was before I was started this downsizing thing. Well, anyway, I guess also, you know, jumping off the rat race, that didn't hurt. It made me very happy. Well, by living in such a cramped space, it really helps me take those tough decisions, you know, to get rid of things that I otherwise would have kept because they are too expensive, or I think they are too nice, or whatever. So now I just have to do it because there are simply no room in the boat for them. So every time I get rid of something, I feel a sense of relief, and that is why the #5 topic on the list is space, or the lack thereof. So now you know, and if you are interested, write me something in the comment sections below about it, because I may come off a little hippie-ish. Now for the next item on our list, mobility. Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, I think, but here it is anyway. You see, when you don't live in a flat or a house or anything, you don't really have any contracts or anything you need to consider if you want to move. You can just up and go. You don't even have to pack because your whole house is on the water. So you just raise those sails and go. If you find a better job or you just want to check something out, it is just going. And it's quite a new sensation for me to have this, you know, mobility, and I kind of like it. Well, for now anyway. Maybe in a year or so I would like to settle down again, but for now I kind of love the sensation of just be able to hoist my sails and go. Hi-ho there, and welcome back to Tananger. I'm going to start this off by apologizing for taking so long to get this video uploaded. Now, first of all, I've been working pretty much every day for the past 2 weeks, so I haven't had the time. And on top of that, I've come down with something. So the last 3 days or so, I've just been laying flat out here in the saloon. So I'm just gonna get this list up and going again. So I guess we're just gonna jump into the next one. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of things to worry about living on a boat, like the hull through freezing over, loss of power, or someone breaking into your boat when you're not there. You see, when first moving down to the boat, well, nothing really happens, except for the odd panic attack now and then, when you started to question your mental faculties for making this decision all along. But have no worries if you're planning to move to your boat. It passes. But after a period of declimatizing, you find yourself a little more calm than you used to be. You don't fret over the small stuff, and I don't really know why that is. It could be that things like I don't watch TV anymore at all. And so if you ask me what star had to go home this week from, I don't know, some show, it seems like that's all the shows on TV nowadays. As I said, I haven't watched TV. Could be that. Could also be that living in such a cramped space, so close to nature, I guess. When it starts to rain, even the slightest little drizzle, I can hear it on the roof. That, I might add, is quite nice to sit inside here when you get the heat going and it starts to rain outside and you just hear the thumping on the roof here. And the wind, well, you feel that on the hull instantly. If it increases or it slows down. And temperature, well, don't get me going on that. I think you know the answer. You feel that as well. What struck me about this thing is that on my journey here, every person I met that was a liveaboard, they tend to be this way. They all were very calm people and very helpful and very friendly people. Buy you a cup of coffee or beer, and a sense of community among boaters, I think. Well, there are boaters and there are boaters. And if you are a boater, you know what I'm talking about. And they've all been that way. And I don't really know why it is, but you tend to calm down and you tend to not worry as much. Except for a boat, that is. Alrighty there, and welcome to Terje's Kitchen, where we this day are gonna make ourselves a pizza. And of course, we make everything from scratch here on the boat. But I have already started, and this here is the result. Now, you may think I have cheated a little, but you just have to take my word for it. And while we're waiting for the pizza, it's time to go for the number 2. Now this here is really a kind of a no-brainer, because living on a boat is very cheap. I think I calculated that I think it is 1/4 or something of the budget I had living on land, living here on the boat. There's a ton of stuff I don't pay anymore since I don't have an apartment and I do not have a car. So you could live very comfortably even if you have a low income, a part-time job or whatever. It is costly as hell when you travel by boat, because you have to pay in every harbor and you don't have any income coming in. So that's a problem. But as long as you stay in the harbor and work, you have absolutely no problems at all. In fact, if I had stayed at home and not done anything except for moving down to the boat back in Sweden, I would have been really well off by now. There are two things though I think that has been more expensive living on a boat. First thing is actually food. I think I have a higher food budget today than I did back then. It's mostly due to the fact that I don't have a freezer and I do not have a big fridge. So I can't really stock up on fresh goods like I could before. So it tends to be a lot of this impulse shopping when it comes to food. And the second thing is actually clothing. Because when living on a boat, you have to consider space at all times. And so if you're going to buy yourself a jacket, it really has to be a jacket that could stand up to rain or wind or something. And it really needs to be high quality. And high quality items in clothing tend to cost a lot more. So I can't just go and, oh yeah, this sweater looks good on me, I'll buy that one. So those are the two things that I think has increased slightly. And of course, when living on a boat, you don't have to really consider buying furniture. You can't really rip out the couch here and get a new one in. And you don't have to consider buying a bigger TV or a new stereo sound system or anything of that order. You know, this here, right now anyway, is my stereo sound system. So I get by a lot cheaper than I did when I was on land. And for me personally, I like that a lot. While I was making these two lists, I found that there are some fundamental differences between the good and the bad. And well, the downside of living on a boat is all about restrictions in the environment, really. Like cold floors, condensation, smell. Downside of the boat living is all things that could be remedied, I think, or at least it could be vastly improved upon. You could get a bigger boat. You don't have to be huge, just a little bigger, so you can have an extra apartment. No, I don't mean apartment. Extra cabin, I mean, so that your guests can have their own space. Yeah, you could have some carpets put in here, and it wouldn't be cold floors, so just put on a pair of slippers. And yeah, do some more insulating, I guess. Stuff like that could vastly improve the downside of living on a boat. While the upside is all about how it makes you feel, really. The number one entry is also about how it makes you feel. It really is. It is nothing I can explain. It is a combination of all the good things of living on a boat. And it is very personal, so I won't tell you. No, not gonna tell you. Alright, I'm gonna. Like I said, it is nothing I can really tell you. It is personal, and I think it is different for every people. I think we all experience it differently. But for me, the number one thing on living on a boat is actually freedom. That is the number one thing for me. Personal freedom. Freedom to do whatever I want to do. Cheers. And that, my friends, concludes this list. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, you take care, and I'll see you there.